E-ink devices used to be boring, slow, and only good for reading. But thanks to the latest innovations in this technology, they've been able to invent this color e-ink smartphone that, as you can see, runs any everyday app super fast, like Instagram, for example. And all of this is thanks to the latest update this device received, which manages to boost its speed up to 43 frames per second, a record number. And this combined with its 8 GB of RAM, 256 GB of internal storage dual speakers, and extra large battery make this Bigme Hibreak Pro Color the most powerful color e-ink smartphone to date. After testing it for a few weeks, I have no doubt that if Amazon Kindle were to launch a smartphone, probably the Kindle phone, it should look like this. In this video, you'll see it compared with the iPhone 17 Pro Max and with another monochrome e-ink smartphone, so you can see the differences. But for now, you're already watching the unboxing. It's very similar to all the Bigme devices I've tested on this channel. The box is very well protected. There are the papers, and it also comes with a USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable, as well as the SIM ejector pin. And now here it is, the Bigme Hibreak Pro Color in all its glory. As you can see, it weighs less than 200 grams, which I like. It feels light. And by the way, something else I like is that it includes this case, which is already on, and that rectangle you see there, that's where the sticker was with all the information. I had to rub it with a bit of alcohol to completely remove the glue. I hope that in future versions, Bigme fixes this and puts the sticker somewhere else or uses a different kind of glue. The back part, by the way, has a matte texture, but it does pick up fingerprints pretty easily, and the frame is also made of plastic. I guess that's also why it feels so light. The design is quite distinctive. It's very minimalist. It almost looks like a mini e-ink tablet in a longer format with that standout unlock button. By the way, the screen has a pre-installed plastic protector. And moving on to the ports, there's the USB Type-C, one of the speakers, a microphone, and a SIM tray, because you can add 2 5G SIM cards. The fact that it's made of plastic has 2 sides. The first one, which is bad, is that it doesn't feel very premium. And the second one, which is good, is that I've noticed this smartphone doesn't get as hot as others I've tried. On the other side, by the way, you'll find the volume buttons and also the unlock button with a fingerprint sensor in a pretty striking red color. And on the top, it has the second microphone and an infrared port. On the other side, it has 2 customizable buttons. All the buttons have good travel, and this is how it looks in your hand. It fits quite well with the rear camera that doesn't stick out, it's flush. And honestly, after having used such heavy phones, over 200 or 250 grams, you really appreciate something this light. It's been a while since I tried a new modern phone that weighed so little. Now let's talk about the phone's most striking feature, its screen. And as you can see, it doesn't need brightness, even though it has LEDs that bounce off this screen. Even if I turn it off completely, the screen still looks good. It doesn't compete with the sun, instead it benefits from it, or from any light. The more light there is in the environment, the better it will look, and you won't even need to turn on the LED lights that come with this phone. I've analyzed almost all the devices from this brand, Bigme, as well as from Bucks and Kindle, and you already know how it works. If you set it to magazine mode or comic mode, the colors will look better, but it will run slower. And if you set it to video mode or hyper mode, as you're already seeing, in custom mode, you can add hyper mode. And that's when you get the 43 frames per second, making it the fastest color e-ink smartphone in the world today. You can already see how it works, like scrolling in this newspaper. I'll even compare it to a top phone today, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I just re-reviewed to tell you if it's still worth it or not after half a year. But anyway, you're already seeing how the scrolling works on both phones. The Bigme Hibreak Pro Color and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I switched them to the other hand because it seems like I have more strength in my right hand. Even so, you can already see that scrolling is faster on the Bigme. But it's a comparison that I think perfectly illustrates the speed these e-ink phones are reaching, which not long ago would have been almost unthinkable. You can also see how they handle reflections. The e-ink phone has a better anti-reflective layer. Obviously, the colors are much better on a conventional smartphone. The Bigme looks kind of like a Harry Potter newspaper, meaning with fewer colors. But now I'm going to compare it with another e-ink phone, but this one is monochrome. You can see it on the right. Monochrome screens have better black and white contrast. White appears whiter and black appears blacker. Also, the battery in monochrome phones or devices lasts longer than in color e-ink devices. You can already see by the way the scrolling. The Hibreak Pro Color is a bit faster. Ultimately, you decide if you need extra colors or if a monochrome screen is enough for you. Both have pros and cons. As I said, I prefer the contrast between black and white, and as mentioned, the battery lasts longer. Its price is also slightly lower than the color version. I'll discuss prices with you later. So what does this panel innovation mean? Essentially, it makes it faster, as you can already see. Hyper refresh mode makes it run at 43 frames per second. Well, this makes videos and any dynamic content look almost like they do on a normal smartphone. It doesn't quite get there, but without a doubt, the difference we've seen, not just in recent years, but in the last few months, there's been a lot of innovation in this area, and it already feels almost like a normal smartphone. You know, of course, ink works very differently from an OLED screen, an LCD screen, or an LED screen. They are small ink capsules that change shape with electrical impulses. This has its good side and its bad side, as I was telling you. It looks like an old newspaper, but it makes your eyes less tired. It doesn't disrupt your circadian rhythms as much, and it's much better for your eyesight. Your head doesn't hurt, you can use it at night, and so on. You know, I'm a fan of this technology because I've experienced it myself. I mean, I can speak from experience. These e-ink devices are much gentler on your eyes and don't have as many side effects as LED or OLED screens. Now let's discuss the hardware and software. As you see, there's an unlock button with a fingerprint reader. It's not the fastest I've tried, but it's nice they include it in this type of e-ink device since that's rare. It has some tricks, like for example when it comes to customizing the two action buttons, double click, single click, or long press. Also, you can customize the gestures, as you can see to the left, the app switcher, and on the right you can refresh the screen, which is sometimes necessary with this kind of e-ink technology. And in the center, you can go to the home screen. Although all of this is highly customizable, just like this floating bubble. Some people like it. Personally, I prefer them on tablets, but not so much on e-ink smartphones. Although the interface of this Bigme is exactly the same as on other devices. For example, at this point it doesn't have a dark mode, but you can invert the colors. Honestly, the black background looks great. I hope Bigme makes a dedicated dark mode because on e-ink this background looks great. But let's talk about the hardware. What does it have? Well, it has a Dimensity 1080 processor and octa-core at 2.6 GHz, 8 GB of RAM, and 256 GB of internal storage with stock Android 14. Also, the screen is 6.1, 3 inches. It uses Kaleido 3 technology, 300 pixels per inch in black and white, and 150 in color. And you can already see how everyday apps like Instagram would work. Honestly, it runs them pretty much like a regular phone. And check out more demanding apps. You can see the transitions. Everything works very smoothly. By the way, the vibration motor works well. It's strong. It has Bluetooth 5.3 and so on, everything related to 5G, GPS, etc. Everything has worked well. Nothing to complain about here. And when it comes to games, it's the same as with videos. This smartphone isn't designed to run them with the best possible visuals because of the e-ink technology itself. But as you can see, it's becoming more and more like a conventional smartphone. The processor is, well, the most powerful one currently available in an e-ink smartphone. But what has really surprised me is the panel technology itself. Its 43 frames per second are very noticeable, especially in this kind of application. And I'm using this game to show you how its two speakers work, how this Bigme Hibreak Pro Color sounds. And let's talk about the battery of this Bigme. As you can see, it's pretty slim. Specifically, it's 8.9 millimeters, which isn't bad at all for this kind of technology. And it's a 4,500 milliamp hour battery with 18-watt charging. It doesn't have wireless charging, and it also doesn't have too many options. As you can see, for example, for battery protection, like the option to stop charging at 80%. Even so, for this type of device, it's a great battery, depending on how you use it, and if you don't watch too much dynamic content, like videos, etc., it can last you a week or more without any problem. And especially if you're going to use it mainly for reading and in airplane mode, that's when the battery will perform best. Now let's move on to the photography section. Without a doubt, these Bigme Pro series have the best cameras of all the e-ink smartphones currently on the market. Still, they're not enough. And that's normal because of this technology, since they're mainly used for scanning documents and through multiple apps. And the artificial intelligence of this Bigme smartphone can translate or transcribe directly, for example, into a PDF or a note. As you can see, the camera is extremely simple. It's a 20 megapixel camera with up to 4 times digital zoom, and it has HDR, which you can turn on or off. This already feels like a major upgrade over other smartphones. The colors, the dynamic range, the noise it has. As you can see, it's not a great camera. Even so, I think it's only fair to show you the samples so you can see for yourselves what the camera of the most powerful e-ink smartphone in the world is like right now. And, well, this is how this ink smartphone would record video. Video with the most powerful color e-ink phone in the world, in this case from Bigme. This is how its stabilization would be and how its microphones would sound. This would be its maximum resolution, and this would be the only video mode it allows you to record in. It doesn't let you change it, neither the frames per second nor the resolution. And now let's move on to a point I love testing in these e-ink smartphones. They're LED lights. At this point, they would have both white and warm lights. And I'm going to compare it on the right with the Bigme Hibreak Pro, which is the monochrome one. You can see that the white lights are whiter on the monochrome. However, the warm light on the color one is much warmer, so it's more recommended for reading at night. It's better for your eyes in this regard. You already know that I always like to say that the most important thing is which one gets dimmest. It gets the dimmest, and the color e-ink smartphone on the left, as you can see, is just a bit dimmer. And it's also much warmer, so it's more suitable for reading at night. And now let's talk about prices. Bigme Hibreak Pro Color. As you can see, 350.95 euros. I'll leave the purchase link below in the video description. And now let's go to the version without color. That is the monochrome Hibreak Pro, which would cost 329.95 euros. I'll also leave the purchase link below for anyone interested in the video description. My conclusion about these devices is that I love how quickly they're innovating, especially in terms of speed. Now, all that's left is for them to introduce a Kaleido 4 panel to improve those colors, so it doesn't look so much like an old newspaper, but without giving up all the benefits that this type of screen offers for our eyes. If you spend a lot of time looking at screens and notice it affecting your daily life, worse sleep, headaches, and more. If you try this kind of device, it's true that there's a learning curve, that it doesn't feel the same as an OLED screen, but I think the effort is worth it. And with that said, subscribe if you haven't already and leave me a like so I can keep bringing you this kind of device that almost nobody else brings. And also presenting it in these kinds of beautiful landscapes, which I think suits this lesser known and more innovative technology really well here on your channel Test to Do. And now I'll see you in the next video. Take care and see you soon.